Hi, everyone, and welcome to Talk Data to Me. This is where we talk about all things data security. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Eva-Maria Elya, head of Lookout's managed service provider sales. And I'm Steve Banda, director of partner marketing at Lookout. Together, we are going to take a brave journey through the underground world of mobile security. Along the way, we're going to surface some of the IT security challenges that we see organizations facing when it comes specifically to mobile devices and mobile. And we're going to offer some advice on what you can do to de-risk the situation. So with that intro, I want to dive right in. Ava, let's get right to it. Before we start to laser in specifically on mobile security, could you help us understand what the top IT security challenges in general are that you see organizations facing today?
Absolutely. Hi, Steve. How's it going? Good to
Going
be here
well.
with you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you.
So, you asked about the top IT security challenges. So, I have four of them. First of all, the cyber industry in general has a shortage of talent. Organizations are finding it very difficult to find the staff to be able to manage their cyber infrastructure. Secondly, it's incredibly difficult to keep up with security technology and to figure out what you need and what you don't need. Third, we continue to see cyber attacks at scale, including ransomware, vulnerability exploits, credential theft. And four, hybrid and remote work models are here to stay. You and I are a good example of that. We bring our own devices and we work from anywhere. I mean, look at your nice living room here.
Yeah.
Employees are working from anywhere, all of them, not just us. They bring their own devices, and that has also increased the demand for security monitoring.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for commenting on my living room because we recently redesigned it, and I thought at first I was thinking about maybe opening with just playing the piano a little bit, but I didn't know if this audience would really,
I think that
appreciate
would
that.
have
So
been great.
maybe for the next one. So no, well, thanks for that breakdown. I think you really did, kind of nail, what we are seeing in terms of those security challenges, and I think these are felt across the board by, really all organizations. What I think is going to be important now is let's kind of pivot the discussion and say, okay, of those security challenges, what are those that are mobile security focused and related more specifically to mobile?
Right. I mean, most attack vectors are really the same for mobile devices. We talked about social engineering campaigns, including phishing. We talked about vulnerability exploits, ransomware. They are no different on mobile. But let's start with phishing because phishing is probably the biggest problem right now when it comes to mobile devices, mobile phishing. According to Lookout's recent Global State of Mobile Phishing report that was released recently, 2022 saw the highest percentage of mobile phishing encounter rates ever, with an average of more than 30% of personal and enterprise users being exposed to these attacks on a quarterly basis. Why is that? It's easier to click on a phishing link on a mobile device. People are on the go, they have no time to think, they have no time to read it. The screen is smaller, and there is a wide range of phishing methods as well. There's SMS phishing, which is called smishing, the delivery of phishing links via other messaging apps like WhatsApp, social apps like Twitter or Instagram, or of course, email. In fact, according to the Verizon Mobile Security Report, 85% of mobile phishing occurs outside of email, in messaging apps, in SMS, or other applications. Sometimes it's not even a link anymore, but a QR code, which is then called quishing, which can take victims to fake websites. And once you land on such a fake website, no matter if this is through a phishing link or a fake QR code, you're asked to leave your credentials, username, password, and other sensitive information. Or alternatively, those links could be used to download malicious software onto your mobile device. There's been a recent example of a hacking group from North Korea. I got that from our intelligence team earlier. And this hacking group pretended to be a recruiter on LinkedIn. They were specifically targeting security experts in organizations. And once the victim responded to supposedly recruiter on LinkedIn, the recruiter asked to share the job description via WhatsApp. When clicking on the job description to download it, it would download malware instead that allowed the hacking group to steal data from that device. So that's just one example where mobile phishing has a significant impact to an organization and to an individual. Then let's talk about malware or malicious software. We see malware going more and more mainstream on mobile devices. A really good recent example as well is the malware that was found in the Pinduoduo app. Pinduoduo, in case you didn't know, is China's most popular shopping app. I certainly didn't know, by the way. It's China's most popular shopping app, used by more than 750 million users a month. This app contained malware that exploited vulnerabilities in the Android operating systems. And these exploits were used to spy on users. So if you had that app on your phone, it could actually spy on you because it included malware. The other interesting fact is that the international sister app of Pinduoduo is Temu, another shopping app. I don't know if am I pronouncing Temu correctly?
Yeah, Timu is how you say it. If I recall, this was I believe there was a commercial during the Super Bowl that promoted this app, like shop like your royalty or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely Timu is pretty widespread and being pushed pretty hard.
So I learned that it's the #1 app in North America's Google Play Store ranking, so it must be a very popular one. And lastly, so we covered mobile phishing, we covered mobile malware, and lastly, mobile devices represent a big challenge from a compliance perspective too. Many organizations have to comply with industry regulations like HIPAA for healthcare, or in general with cyber frameworks like NIST or Cyber Essentials that is applicable in the UK. Hence, they need to know what the applications on mobile devices are doing, where they send data, which permissions they have, etc. A good example is TikTok and potentially other apps that will and have been banned by governments actually already around the globe. I learned that the French government doesn't just ban TikTok, they also ban Candy Crush. Remember that very popular app from a couple of years ago? So it's only just the beginning, and there are many other apps, not just TikTok, that government organizations are banning, and that organizations have to make sure that they're removed from their employees' devices.
Very good. Well, I think I like that you bring up the example of LinkedIn, because I think everyone understands that phishing attacks really try to take advantage of that concept of social engineering. And so, when people are using LinkedIn, they're very excited to connect, or they get a message they're excited about. It could be about, a new employment opportunity, or making that connection with somebody that you've been excited to connect with. So, at that point, the last thing you're really thinking about is, oh, wait a minute, is this link safe? Right. And I think to the extent that when we talk about malware and apps, I mean, this problem here, unfortunately, is really kind of invisible, right? Like you don't see it until potentially it's too late and it's done some damage. So, I guess I say these things because I think as we go forward, you've done an awesome job, Eva, presenting some of these challenges. But how do companies deal with them? How are they supposed to address these mobile security challenges?
So the advice is that they need a turnkey program to close the mobile security gaps and manage that mobile risk. You need the visibility. And as the threat landscape becomes increasingly sophisticated, businesses of all sizes must evolve their security strategy to keep up and to proactively address the threats that we just mentioned. Yet many do not have the security tools or skill sets in place to tackle this on their own.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, obviously we're close to it, right? So to us, often it's like, wow, I'm surprised that a lot of organizations still have this, what I like to call mobile security gap, right? And to your point, there's a study by Analysis Mason, and it states that 50% of SMBs, the smaller businesses, specifically, they don't have any form of mobile security in place. I feel like this is a big chunk, half. So why do you think this is the case? Is it Is it something related to cost or just lack of awareness, or other, anything else that you think contributes to this gap?
Yeah, I think that's a significant portion. So many companies have a mobile device management solution, an MDM, in place. And there's still a belief that this secures those mobile devices. The issue here is that an MDM provides no protection against the mobile threats that we just mentioned. There's no protection against mobile phishing attacks, no protection against malware or advanced device exploits like a root or a jailbreak. Those MDM solutions are primarily used for the management of the devices, like the name suggests. You can remotely wipe a device, you can push policies onto the device, and other management level actions. In fact, pairing mobile security with MDM is a very strong strategy, but MDM alone is insufficient. However, when it comes to SMBs, we find that many, especially in the US, do not have MDM or mobile endpoint security in place. Yet they rely heavily on personal mobile devices for work because mobile threats can go silently undetected. They feel that they have no threat because they simply do not have the visibility. But as our phishing report shows, it's even 50% of personal devices that were exposed to a mobile phishing attack in 2022. And the last point I'll make with respect to gaps is that many organizations outsource security to a managed service provider, which makes complete sense. But these solution providers almost always have an endpoint detection, an EDR solution in place. And these solutions monitor threats across traditional endpoints, but they often do not cover mobile. And the EDR solution will state that it covers all endpoints, but in reality, it doesn't because mobile is just simply not built in and it's different. So a mobile EDR solution specifically could address these types of threats that we talked about, which is necessary for complete EDR coverage.
Very good. Yeah, so I think, Eva, thanks a lot for breaking this down. I agree that the first and very fundamental to all of this is understanding the basics, and basics being that MDM really is a management solution for mobile, right? So really, those mobile threats just are not handled or prevented with MDM. So that's the key point for this audience to take away for sure. And then, the second point you bring up, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, we put a lot of faith in our managed services and the providers that are handling our security services. And, core is EDR, right? EDR is a solution that they absolutely all are delivering. However, there's that piece, it's that mobile piece that often, EDR solutions will say, oh, we have coverage for mobile, we cover all endpoints. But it's just not quite the case, because when you get down to the specific protections that are needed, you need to have that in-depth understanding of the mobile device itself, how it's built. You need to get that insight, and you need to understand what that full spectrum of mobile threats is. And so this really is a different conversation when it comes to mobile and how you secure it. So the last point I just want to mention here, at the end of the day, the customers, it's their responsibility to ensure that they have that proper security in place, whether they're outsourcing it or bringing it on for themselves, right? Because they have a responsibility to their customers. So preaching to the choir here, but I think that's just an important piece for everybody to think about as we go forward. Honestly, that brings us to the end of this program. I do want to thank everybody for paying attention and attending today. Eva, I want to thank you especially for your time today and for the insightful conversation and really revealing some of these concerns with respect to mobile security. And if anyone for more information, please visit us at lookout.com, and you can go from there. So thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, Steve. And I wonder when you're going to play us a song on your piano. Let me know. I'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be the next show. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Take care.